Hi guys, I am John Carrick, author of Legacy of a Mad Scientist and The Legend of Ashley Fox. Today we're on 100 Bullets 68 by Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Risso. Only 32 more issues to go after this one. And here we get the opening in the past. This is one of the elderly members of the Trust. One of the guys who back in the 50s was in middle-aged. This guy's name is Mr. Nagel, but there is a guy in here named Walker, I believe. Mr. Nagel is being woken up by a phone call back in the day, in the 50s. The interior is really well done. He's being called by Augustus Medici, who is new to the Trust. His parents were killed, his father's dead, his mother's in a coma. He is calling to tell this guy, Mr. Nagel, that Walker is dead. And how? A luxury not afforded to many in this line of work. Old age. So Walker was, I figured out from this issue, the Graves of his day. And Graves is going to have to replace him. So this is, like I said a couple issues ago, this is the ending of the Trust. This is not the middle, not the beginning. This is the end. This is a 400-year-long story. This has been going on for 400 years. So what we are seeing is the fireworks finale. And here's this old guy in the elevator, asks his guy not to come with him. He's in the elevator with someone else, and it's Graves. But we don't get to know that just yet. First, we see Jack trying to get another fight in Atlantic City, and his agent is explaining to him that no one wants to fight him. He's undefeated, and no one wants to fight an undefeated guy because they're just going to get hurt, and there's no money in it. No one's willing to place a bet. So he has to convince Jack to take a fall. In his next fight, he wants him to take a dive. And that way, people will start to bet on him again because they're not sure what's going to happen. And Jack is like, I really enjoyed being undefeated. Right here. I really enjoyed being undefeated. But the scenes are getting shorter, which I've noticed is something that, see, this book can go really long and drawn out and have nothing happen and have it still be interesting. Or they can compress things pretty quick, keep it sharp, keep it snappy, and it still works. This scene I didn't realize until I saw this. So when we first saw this, when we first see this, the way you're first seeing it now, unless you read this issue today, there's some guy in here getting a tattoo, and the tattoo artist is like, yeah, this is really big. You're going to have to take it easy. And then you're going to be in a lot of pain. And whoever this is says, I like pain. He's like, okay. So he tells him the mirror's to the left. Obviously, so look, right now you can see that's a pretty big guy. It's not Jack, though. Jackson, well, it might be. You don't know, but it's not. Megan is not dead, which is why the last issue was not about her. Vic probably shot her with a .22. I think a hollow point .38 right above your heart would kill you. A 9mm would kill you. A .22 might not, but literally right above her heart, that's a lot. A .22 might not kill you. From across the room, yeah, maybe not. But it's not like it went through a vest or a jacket or anything. It went through a menu. And her butleress named Kate comes in and to tell her that she has a visitor, that it's Mr. Medici. And she says, send him away. I don't want to deal with Benito right now. She says, no, it's Augustus Medici. So that gets a different response. Tell him I'll be there in a minute. And here she is, Kate Beckinsale. So he has come out to see her, and again, we get the dialogue where the responses don't make any sense without the right statement in the first place. So she's like, Augustus, what a pleasant surprise. And he says, it shouldn't be. Everything depends on what got said right before. A surprise, I mean. How are you, Megan? She says, how do I look? Don't answer that. What if I want to? Well, take your shot. Kate Beckinsale. Again, they banter, they go back and forth. Nothing gets negotiated, nothing gets said. They pour each other drinks. He pours her a drink. He says, you look like cynicism has replaced your confidence. And she says, well, fashion changes with the seasons. And he says, some things never go out of fashion, like a little black dress. At funerals, I think women wear black for men because it makes them feel more alive. Is that the men or the women? So again, a little bit of banter, but nothing gets solved. The sentence gets left over to the next page. Nothing gets solved. He's just there to see her. Just the clever dialogue. And now we get Loop and Vic at the casino. And this is the same thing. More clever dialogue without anything getting solved. Loop's playing a one-armed bandit. Vic's making fun of him for it. Loop wins a bunch of money. Vic tells him we got to go play another game and win some real money. Not just quarters. These are dollars. So he's, got a bucket full of money. He's on top of the world. Here we cut back to the young guy who had gotten in the elevator before. Way back here. Was he young? I thought he was. And then we cut to Jack, right? So no, he's old. So this is the guy who made the phone call, right? He's the one who got the phone call. Then he gets into the elevator. He's an old man now. Now we cut back to the elevator. So this is present day. This is a lot of scenes to juggle in one comic. It only works because we're 60 issues in and we know all these characters. We don't know him. He's still new. And they are having a conversation about... And again, this is another page where the dialogue has to bounce one sentence off the next. Talking about the floors. Isn't it funny how there is no 13th floor? And so he says, so this is how it ends? Begins, Axel. This is how the end begins. Now we cut back to the old days where Augustus Medici and this guy, Axel, this is Javier Vasco. They get Graves put in to replace Neil Walker. I think his name was Neil. No, the other guy's name was, I don't know. There's a new guy and it mixes everything up because now there's new names. But they are maneuvering to get Graves put in as the head of the trust. And this, again, it's really nice to see the old, 50s decor. But nothing gets solved here that we didn't already know about. And this scene didn't even make sense the first time I read it. This scene is a whole lot of money. This guy wants to place a bet. This page made about as much sense as the tattoo page since they're both concerning the unseen character. The guy who got the tattoo we haven't seen yet, presumably if it's a guy. I thought it was Megan for a second, but then Megan is in the next scene not dead with a bullet hole, so she did not get a tattoo over the bullet wound. She just has a scar. And obviously this is long enough ago to have it scarred up. Everyone traveled over a week or two. But this guy is placing a bet. You think you can get the bet placed or not? Yeah, I can do it. All right then. So here we go. This is Javier Vasco. He looks a little different than I remembered him looking in Seattle, the issue where the kids took the lottery ticket out of the dead man's hand. But this is Javier Vasco having the conversation with the other guy in the elevator. And he says he's trying to decide if he backed the right horse. 30 years later, now that Graves is bringing all of this down. Here we get Jack questioning everything, playing with the gun, putting it in his mouth. This guy says, Jack, you ready for the fight? Jack is in his truck. Jack is living out of a van, fighting for money. His agent explains that he doesn't have to take a dive, that the guy he's going up against bet a whole bunch of money on himself, and they're going to take that from him. They say he can punch, but he can't take a hit, is what this guy tells Jack. And there's Vic in the crowd with Loop. They have come out to watch Jack fight Lono, whose agent says he can throw a punch, but he can't take a hit. And Lono's new tattoo says Croatoa across his waist. So we jump back and forth. We jump back and forth in time. A lot of different characters. This is supposed to be a hints, tips, and tricks thing. And in terms of writing, when the audience is invested 68 issues, you can take a little bit of leeway. When you've won a bunch of awards, you can take a little bit of leeway. The audience is on board. I am on board. I can't think of a better way they could have or should have written this issue, but that's because I'm not invested in doing that. I think as an experienced writer, when you look back at something like this years later, the gaps become a little more obvious. The fixes, the exchanges, the compromises. The compromises become a little more obvious. This scene was not fouled up at all. What happened here? Who is black better for? Their conversation. Who are black dresses better for, the women or the men? What is Augustus here for? Is he going to move on his relationship with Megan at this point? And who are we voting for to win this fight? Jack or Lono? And does it matter? I want Jack to win the money. I want Jack to remain undefeated. I like Jack better than Lono, but Jack is a drug addict. And I don't respect Jack as much as I respect Lono. But Lono's fucking crazy. But these are fictional characters in a comic book. A really well done, well drawn, well written, well produced comic book. And aren't Jack and Lono just versions of Pitt? Pitt was the danger girl of Action Comics that never got follow through. Poor Dale. All right, see you guys tomorrow.